Hello, welcome back to another episode of Cameron's Tidbits. Today, race cars. Well, not exactly, but close enough. This is my latest Facebook Marketplace find. It's marketed as a Formula 5, I think. A little race car for kids. I picked it up for $40, and we're going to kind of tear into it, update the battery system a little bit, read through the wiring diagram, make sure I'm not gonna, catch my kids on fire, and then, test it out. Hopefully it works and go from there. But first, this. So let's talk about the stove a little bit. I wasn't able to fire it up at the end of the last video because I didn't have any wood. Thankfully, I live in an area that campgrounds are prevalent. So where there are campgrounds, there are people selling firewood next to those campgrounds, just like on the side of the road. So that's what I did. I've also installed a ceiling fan, which I'll show you here in a few minutes. It's pretty nice. The thermometer now says it's almost 50 degrees, which maybe, it's hot. It's definitely nice and hot. There were a couple of issues I had right off the bat. So one of which being, I didn't really know this beforehand, but the nickname for this stove in the wood stove community, I guess, is like the Dragon, or like the Smoking Dragon or something like that. And I know why now. This thing smokes really bad. So I don't know if it's just the way that it's designed or when it's vented out the back or what. I've sort of got it dialed in a little bit now, but it's pretty smoky. It's smoky on startup when you first light the fire, and then if you open the doors too fast while it's going, it gets super smoky. It's just sort of a smoky stove, which is kind of interesting. But so it does get a little bit smoky in here, but it not bad enough where like you can't breathe, you can't spend a whole day in the barn. It's more of a, just, don't go sit on the couch in these clothes because the couch is going to smell smoky inside the house, right? Let me show you a couple other things here. So this is the ceiling fan that I got. I mean, it's going. It's doing its thing. That is doing incredible. That helps a lot. It got really, really smoky in here earlier, and I had to open up the garage door and just like let it all out. Crank that thing all the way up. Oh yeah, it's on a remote. The remote it was designed by a putz because nothing was labeled. So like, what does that button do? You'd think one of these would be for, the light. The other one would be for the fan. No, that's not the case. The top button changes the color temperature of the light bulb. I'm not kidding. And then this button turns the light bulb on and off. As you can see by me having to label it because it's not very intuitive. And then to start the fan, you just select the speed, and then obviously to stop it, you stop it. But then it has a nice reverse fan rotation. So right now I have it pushing the hot air down, and that seems to be working pretty good. All right, that's enough farting around with the stove. Let's get into this. So I know this might be viewed as man code sacrilege, but whatever. The guy that I bought this from printed out the original manual for me. If he took the time to do that, I am going to take the time to at least flip through it. I do have one concern, and I know it won't be too big of a problem. Let me show you. I got these from Uncle Jeff Bezos, right? And it's just those things, right? It's got the little adapter so I can take DeWalt batteries because that's my brand of choice, apparently. Snap them in, right? And you got power. So I am stepping up the voltage a little bit. This is rated for 12, and I'm going to be putting 20 on it. So hopefully that doesn't like nuke the whole thing. I don't think it will. It might just not last as long. I don't know. Let's dive into it. Let's at least look through this here real quick. It's an expanded parts diagram. I want a wiring diagram. So this is why I'm a little confused. First of all, it has this, which probably went to a charger, but it's like a 3 or 4 prong, 4-prong trailer plug. That seems weird. That probably, my guess is that went to a charger, but I don't know for a fact. This is the whole harness itself. So maybe I'm just gonna end up taking this off, wiring straight to that. But this looks like there was a spot for 2 batteries, and that diagram only shows 1 battery. So that would be one, that would be the other. So my plan was to just tie both my positives together to the adapter, and then same thing, tie my negatives together with the adapter. But I was gonna, chop all this crap off. But man, looking at it now, oh, look at that. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Shoot. Look at that. Yeah, let's take this. Let's dive into this. All right, so let's just sort of dive into this thing because I don't see any reason not to. Stop. All right, so that's the pedal. That thing makes it go. What's that? Oh yeah, okay. that goes here. Let's take this back part off as well, I think. Oh, that's it. You know, I'll be honest, I was expecting a little bit more than that. It's yellow. I wish I had a wiring diagram. You know, should I just do it? Should I just hook up the harness like I think it should be? That's what I'm gonna do. So let's do it. Let's just, you know, do it. Let's just do it. What's the worst that's gonna happen? You know? What's the very worst thing that could happen here? I suppose I could start a fire, but all right, we're ready. All right. This is an older 20 volts going in. 3, 2, 1, go. All right, this is my solution. So there was the 2 speeds, the slow and the fast, right? I'm just gonna power the 2 speeds with 2 batteries, right? That's that makes sense. So let's okay. Okay, well, it's Holy Jesus! It works. Okay. Okay, this tire's not spinning. Let's see. Oh my gosh. Is it? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That didn't sound good. Well, I'm not sure if the camera's gonna pick it up, but that was the secret smoke. It sure does smell bad now. So those 2 motors, just like that, I think they just fried. I think that might be all she wrote. Well, my father-in-law and I just looked at it for a while and have determined that she's toast, which kind of sucks, but you know what? That's how these things go sometimes. That was a total fail. And after thinking about it a little bit more, and my father-in-law brought up a good point, that these motors were meant for 6 volts and 12 volts. And I said, no. That's not enough. Okay, we're gonna do 20 volts and 40 volts. Okay, that was a mistake. Oops. Well, that was sure disappointing. I was hoping for a little bit better of a result here. That's how things go sometimes. No big deal. Sort of a bummer that it's just an unfinished project. I wanted to have some sort of cool thing, you know, for the end of this video, but let's talk about the stove. And this wood stove is doing some weird things. Rusting. See, this is the problem. See, this is what's happening. This is what you seen this? I'm going to show you closer up here in just a second so you can really get a good idea. But I'm missing something. And my father-in-law's got a good point on what I should try but I want to show it to you. So what's happening is there's a big buildup of coals in the back of the stove, and so it's all the way up almost to the top here. Oh, sorry about that. All the way up to the top here, right? And so anything I'm putting in is just rolling down to the front. So that, you can see all the coals and stuff that have been falling out. And I even had a spade chucking them back in earlier. And I don't know if I'm loading it wrong or what something. It's probably on my end, but I don't know what I'm doing wrong. But yeah, and it's putting out some decent heat, but not as much as I thought it would. I'm just figuring it out. I'm figuring it out. Well, thanks for joining me on another episode of Cameron's Tidbits. Sorry it was such a fail, but you know what? I don't know. I don't know what. Something. I sort of knew in the back of my head that it was going to be an ambitious ask to make these old motors. They're like over 20 years old. These old 20-year-old brushed motors go to, over twice the amount of voltage they're rated for. I knew that was going to be that's an ask, right? I think what I'll do is get some information off of this thing and see if I can maybe get updated motors. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, thanks for joining me on another episode of Cameron's Tidbits. And like my brother always says, if you have to learn something, it probably means you're dumb. See you next time.